How you doing, everyone? Aaron Kelly here from the Irish People. Don't need to say candidate for the Claremorris electoral area anymore because it is Wednesday, June the 12th. It's around about lunchtime now, and it's all it's all done at this point now. God, yeah, the last 4 weeks. So I remember back to doing the introductory, the announcement video. My God, I have a life lived now at this point. That seems months ago, but. Listen, I'm not going to get into the results in this video. I'm just a wee bit behind in the videos. This video is going to be about the tally and the count because there's a lot of people kind of asking about that. Still a lot of uncertainty out there. And I want to finish off this kind of the campaign series and just talk a little bit about that. I suppose just quick spoiler alert. Yeah, it didn't get elected. Didn't come last, but didn't get elected. And I think generally speaking, there was disappointment, kind of Ireland wide in the kind of the nationalist vote. But listen, I'm going to do a separate video about that. I just want to finish off the tally and the count here. To be honest, I haven't even really digested fully the kind of the repercussions of the result and kind of what that means for the movement going forward. And so there's not much point me doing a video on that until I at least kind of have it clear in my head. I've spoken to other people. So this video is just the tally and the count to bring that a little bit more transparency in that for anybody that would be thinking of running in the future, so they can see a little bit of it now. And understand a little bit of what it's about, because I'll be completely honest now, when I walked into the count centre on Saturday morning last, I didn't have a clue. I hadn't a clue what I was doing, and I kind of had to figure it out as we went. Much like the posters, but it's kind of one of those things, it seems mind-boggling until you kind of do it once, and then kind of a lot of the mystery kind of fades away. But I wanted to show actually, so I'll put some footage at the end. The first bit of footage I wanted to actually put in was, I'll just, for the sake of it, show you myself going in and voting. And then I wanted to record the full kind of journey of the ballot box from the polling centre to the count centre, where that goes overnight, and then the count. Now I missed. I don't know if I deleted the bit where the ballot box is coming out of the polling centre, the polling station, into the back of the car, and being taken up to Castlebar. I don't know if I deleted that video or I pushed the button and it didn't record or whatever, but I missed that bit. But look, it's no biggie. So the footage will actually start when we get up. So I'll show you the just me in there voting. I just want to show as well, because I said to the polling people, what I was doing, and they were dissuasive about the whole thing, but they weren't giving me any. They weren't giving me kind of reasons, sufficient reasons why I shouldn't or why I couldn't. So I did anyway, and they weren't mad thrilled with that. But look, such is life. So that's what we did. We went in and voted. Then we went back to the polling station at 10 o'clock that night. Waited for them to come out. Accidentally didn't record that bit. I say because they weren't mad keen on it, so there was a bit of a comical bit where there was a bit of a high speed chase going on. But anyway, missed that bit. So I say footage starts up in the count centre, and I was trying to keep an eye for my own benefit and for people watching this, to give some, as I said, some transparency in the whole thing. But I guess I was looking at it with a view to, there's a lot of people with concerns about electoral integrity, and I was just wanting to show the full process, from your vote going into the box, where does the box go, what happens from there, etc., etc. Now, how do I put this? Yeah, that kind of went out the window, I think, when I got to the count station in Castlebar on Friday night after the polls closed. a wee bit of footage of that. I don't have an awful lot of footage. There is a lot of footage, but I just chopped an awful lot. A lot of it's quite boring, so I'm just going to be showing you the main bits. You can get the gist of it. I'm kind of explain it to you now. It's probably the easiest way. So when I got up, so after the high-speed chase up to Castlebar, when we got there, so that's where the footage starts. Very quickly I realised this isn't going to kind of work out how I thought, because when you get up there, there was just boxes flying everywhere. There was bags flying everywhere. It was to be able to look at it and go, oh, there's a potential area for where things may go awry. It just was impossible, because it was quite chaotic. And you'll see that now. So I'll show you that going to the count centre. I'll show you the box from the polling station where I voted in, going in, where it goes overnight. And really then I was pretty exhausted at that point now, so I didn't want to watch them close the whole thing down and basically just put guards on guard on the hall. So I went home because I only got a few hours sleep the night before on that. But anyway, yeah, so you'll see that go up. You'll see the box arrive, go into the count centre, get checked in, etc., etc. And then all the bags flying around the place as well, which is not the rubbish, but the additional polls and papers that aren't used and all. So certainly for me there was certainly scope for shenanigans. I'm not saying there was. I'm just saying it looked fairly easy if you were that way inclined and connected in and had control of the guards, what have you. But anyway, I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying it looked entirely possible if you wanted to do that. So the next morning when we went in was the count and the tally, which I wasn't even sure it was two different things at that point, but they are. And so you'll see in the footage in the count centre. So basically they had all the boxes and the counters kind of cordoned off in the middle, and the candidates and their helpers, their count agents as they're called, weren't allowed in there. I didn't know that, and I didn't see the funny side of me trying to get a better seat. But so what happens then? The first stage, if you like, is the tally. And so what happens is all the counters and the boxes are in the centre piece of the centre of the count centre, and then they're fenced off, if you like, and then over those fences you'll see all around are what's called the tallymen. And basically these will be the candidates themselves or their helpers, their count agents. And what they're doing is they're watching as the boxes are tipped out on the table and the counters are sorting out, well, in this case they're separating the Europeans from the local votes because they were all banged in the same boxes for whatever reason. So at that point, that's called the sort. So they're doing the sort. And as they're doing the sort, the tallymen are doing the tally. And the tally is like the unofficial count. It's the kind of the first gauge. And what happens is as the counters are kind of, the box has been tipped on the table and they're sorting them out, they're kind of working with the tally people. So they're sorting out the ballot papers and they're putting them down. This is a local one. This is a European one. And you know where the box is from because the box has got a number and a kind of a name on it. And the idea is that as they lay out these ballots in front of you, they're doing it, they're putting their ballots upside down to them, so facing the people, over the barriers. So the people over the barriers, the tallymen, can see what's going on and quickly, and you've got a few seconds as they put it down, then put down the next one, you've got a few seconds to see who got a number one and mark that on your page. So you'd have a list of the candidates for that box, for wherever that box, whatever electoral area that box is from. So by the time the counters then have sorted out all the ballots, separated them out, the tallymen at that point, by the time they get to the end of that, the tallymen have basically got a rough idea of who's in good position there, who got the most number ones, etc. And that's what the tally is. So at that point then, the tally goes out. So we say, like, for us, I think we pulled together So anybody kind of from the nationalist perspective. So we pulled together, but we only, we were only we able to cover like 7 boxes or so, and then we just had to kind of extrapolate that out and kind of figure out roughly what the number was. But the big parties like Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, like they would have had loads of helpers, and they're almost trying to cover every box. In fact, they were trying to cover every box coming out, so they get a more accurate tally. 10 minutes, dear God. Okay, let me just finish this off here now. So that's it. So at the end of the sort, the tallymen now have the tally, and that basically spreads around everybody. It kind of, so the rumours go around that point: who's in, who's got a chance, who's a non-contender, etc., etc. So after that, then the actual count begins, and this is a very long process. And I mean, the count, we'll just take number ones because transfers are a part of it, and I'm not going to get into transfers in this video because transfers, I got to be honest now, I've had it explained to me about 4 times now, and I'm still not 100%. So I'm not gonna tell people how something works, but I'm not completely sure myself. But it just to dispel one of the myths. So I say after the tally, the sort and the tally, then the counting begins. You're counting up all the kind of number ones to see. Basically, if anybody gets over the quota, so you have here's the number of votes in this area, and basically a quota is worked out to fill these 6 seats. You need to get whatever 1,000 votes or whatever, and so just to dispel one myth about the transfers, rather we'll not get into them. So say you have a candidate, and let's say their quota is 1,000, and the candidate has 1,500 votes. So they've got 500 surplus votes. And I think a misconception a lot of people has there is basically they're counting out 999, 1,000, and they go, okay, that's those votes for him, and then they just take the surplus 500 and just use those for number 2s. And that's not the case at all. It's a lot more complicated than that. What they would do in that case is, because if you think about it, imagine the first 1,000 votes, just because for whatever reason, maybe the order of the boxes were opened, or who knows, but say the first 1,000 of that particular candidate had number 2 for somebody else, for candidate B, and then the last 500, their number 2s were candidate C, and they just took the top 500, those ones that are surplus, that were all transferred for candidate C. That wouldn't be fair, because 2/3 of the votes that people who voted for that guy actually gave their number 2 to candidate B. So once that happens and he's passed the quota, all his votes will get recounted again, and it would be kind of in that particular scenario I described there, candidate B would get 2-1 for against candidate C, because 2/3, the first 1,000 voted for, gave gave candidate B their number 2, and then 500 of them gave candidate C number 2. So candidate B would get 2/3 and candidate C would get 1/3. So it is actually kind of more fair like that, but it does make it very complicated then when it goes on down and you're in your 6th count and all the rest of it. So it does get quite complicated. So I'm not going to kind of labour it to death here, and I'd probably get it wrong anyway. But that's it. That's what's going on in the count centre. That frenetic activity. And when you see the footage here now, it all just looks a bit kind of chaotic, and it won't make an awful lot of sense. So I hope that kind of clears it up a little bit. Other thing to say then is just 1 or 2 things. Yeah, from the box going from the polling station to the count centre, seemingly used to be guard escorts, but I was told 20 years ago that stopped. I'm not sure, but so there's no guard escort. There's tons of guards up at the centre, obviously, because some of them do come in from the cities in guard vans, and the guards are guarding overnight before the count starts the next morning. But I mean, listen, I think it's 40 minutes, guys, far too long, and there's probably a bit of footage to go on at the end here. Just wanted to kind of cover that quickly, how that works from your ballot, get into the box go in the count centre, the counts open the next morning, the sort, the tally, the count. That's how it works, just the broad strokes of it. And I think that'll cover it, just a little bit of footage to just show you that happening. As I say, I'll probably take a couple of days now just to speak to people, regarding the results, see how everybody else feels, see if we can't figure out some ideas for where we go from here. But yeah, I'll do a separate video on the results and kind of digest, once I digest that, and kind of maybe discuss a little bit. But anyway, that's a job lot. Say that's I think that wraps up now the campaigning bit. I hope we've covered. I hope we've covered enough that if you were thinking of running, some of the things that you're apprehensive about and that you just simply have never done it before, and therefore, you know, the unknown is a scary thing in life. So hopefully these videos have given you a little bit more confidence in understanding how it works and what you would have to do if you did decide to run for yourself. Okay, folks, I'll leave that there. I'll let this one wrap up. Aaron Kelly, no longer a candidate in Claremorris for the Irish people. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. How you doing? What's the, so far, what's the turnout like? Do you know?
We have about 22%, 23% here.
So far?
Yeah.
So that's not bad for this time of day, is
No,
it?
it's not bad at all. Generally the evening.
Yeah.
There was a nice crowd around 11 or 12, I'd say. People getting their
Lunch.
pensions and doing their
Yeah.
And there's a big load. But from the last while now, there's been people kind of regular, on and off with somebody nearly all the time.
Yeah.
So it passes the time.
And how do you guys get appointed? Is it from the council itself, or?
It's really through the courthouse, through the court's office.
Okay.
The returning officer there in the courthouse. But I worked in the council for over 40 years, so I've been doing it
Right, that's how you kind of...
since the start. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. And tell me this now, so what I'm trying to do, first time candidate and all the rest of it, my God, this has been a learning experience.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you know, there's a load of people out there disillusioned at this point now of politics and the rest of it. What I'm trying to do is get them kind of re-engaged a little bit. And so I've been kind of documenting my whole kind of the whole campaign and the whole process and whatever. So tonight now, just so my understanding is clear, are you guys having to drive the box then to the county centre? Okay, perfect. So listen, can I ask you a favour then? So basically I'd like to document that. If you like, you know, kind of just to show people, look, this is what you do. You put your stuff in the box here, and then it gets driven up here, and it goes into this room, and blah, 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 and the rest of it. So is that okay if I just kind of follow you up?
When you say follow us up now, what do you mean?
Like in the car?
Oh, I prefer not.
What do you mean?
To be honest with you, I'd rather know what following me in that car.
Oh no, but I'm a friendly, like.
Yeah, I know. I'd be nervous enough of it. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, personally. Just to bring in this one.
Do you want a hand with that? Are you okay? No worries. This is where they all come in now.
Are you not going to drop off? I'm thinking,
You'll be interested in bits before you try again, okay?
Okay.
That's the Gary 101.
Just don't hit that with much net. I'll leave that there for a second.
So the count will be tomorrow.
tonight. This is yours, Bernie.
Yes, yeah.
Right. Will you sign off this one first? 322. That's 322. 322 and 322. Okay. And there's your. Sorry.
Everything in order?
Everyone's lovely. Spot on. Thanks a million, Bernie. No.
1 and 2. Yeah. Right, the last week.
So that's it. But that's the end of that now. The box now. So we followed them up to the count station, the TF Royal, and just shot out a little bit of footage in there, just showing them. So basically, all the boxes coming in now. The back of cars, back of caravans, and all the rest of it. Goes in there to the count centre here, gets lined up for the morning, and then at 8:30 tomorrow morning the postal vote starts, and 9 o'clock the regular vote starts. So it's already late, so I'm tired already. So I'm gonna go to bed, and we'll shoot the count tomorrow. Okay, thanks very much, folks. Bye. You can see in the middle here is where the counters are, and then the rest of us here, like on the outside of the stalls. So these are basically tally people outside the stalls here. We're trying to keep an eye on that, on the transfers and what have you. Train of thought here. So you can see in the inside here, so you see this board and everybody on the outside. Everybody on the inside there are counters. And they've each got boxes here in front of them, they're going to be counting. And you see on the outside, these are all the tallymen. So they keep an eye on them. Tomorrow, sir.